I
There
should
we
put on
go.
my glasses, look very
So
astute.
now this is being recorded.
See,
as
this is
it
what-
is.
Following is brought to
Without
you
being
in
edited.
part by
What are we
MSC
doing? See,
Studios.
it looks better with
The
glasses.
views and
Without being
opinions
edited,
of the show's
this
host
is
and
going to be
guests
posted on our
do
YouTube
not
page.
necessarily
Alright,
reflect those
finish. Just remind me
of
to
the
hit
owners,
stop.
management, or staff of WGBB. And now, it came from the radio.
If I knew how to edit, I can cut off the part. And welcome once again to Came From the Radio, the official show of the Big Apple Con. This is your host, Mark Torres, speaking. With me in the studio, we have a full house on a very experimental show. I have our senior correspondent, Troy Saladino.
How's everybody doing?
And we have our special guest host today from Pronto Comics, Dominic Sperano.
Hello, hello.
And of course, we have our other guest who we're talking to, an interviewee, who we're going to be talking about his new project on the Shatner Man of War. That's Mario Nicieza.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And I got the last name right, right?
Perfect
See?
pronunciation.
It took 3 times for him to be on the show.
I
for me
wasn't
to get it
impressed.
right.
This is why you rehearse.
Yes.
Actually, no.
This was
rehearsing.
worth the price of admission to get
Get the name
Mario's
right.
name right for you.
There you go.
So if anybody's having any trouble listening to us on the air,
Tough.
you can go online to www.am1240wgbb.com. Listen to us on a live audio streaming.
Get a bit of radio.
Also on the GBB website, you can see us live in the in-studio web camera. And as a bonus, because we're running a little experiment right now, you can see us on our very own It Came From Radio page, www.itcamefromradio, and you can see us live streaming the event right now. So we are live recording us live being on the air. So it's kind of a multi-thing going on.
My
And you-
brain's hurting, stop.
And you can see us right now on the web camera in the studio on both places. So right now we are live streaming, and this will be on the YouTube page when we are done.
I never liked Monk. I just want to say that live.
I'm less bald looking in real life. No, I'm not.
I guess I'll just take it away with the very extremely short news because we're going to do a lot of self-promoting today.
Yes.
The news is brought to you in part by the folks at the Big Apple Con, of which we are the official radio show of on the Big
Wait.
Apple.
Have you guys upgraded from those rat bastards?
Oh yes, at
Oh,
at
yeah.
Belmore, at
You
Belmore
missed that,
Towing.
don't you? So do I. I missed
Yes,
it.
the rat bastards at
Oh my
Belmore
god, we have
Towing.
audio sounds going on now?
Yeah, we're-
You know, this is like my 6th appearance here, and I gotta say, the quality has been going up
You're
steadily.
keeping track?
Yeah.
More or less, yeah, I can figure it out.
Yeah, he knew
I
what the
was
show
just
was
mad.
about. I had no clue.
Yeah.
So
I told you I can prepare, Charlie.
Yes, good job. Good job being the one out of, actually the 2 out of the 4 of us in this studio right now who came prepared.
It's sad, because you two are the hosts of the show on a regular basis.
See, I wasn't hinting who was the other person prepared. Way to destroy the illusion.
I'll take that kudo. I'll
There
take
you
it.
go.
What illusion? It's online now. Everyone can see. There's a man with a laptop.
I got my paper right here.
Well, you got okay.
Alright, so as I was saying, we were brought to you in part by the fine folks at the Big Apple Con, which we are the official radio show of. They just celebrated their 20th anniversary of the Big Apple Con in March. What they're doing now is they are promoting the Eternal Con, which is coming up in June, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, June, I think,
13th and 14th?
13th and 14th?
I believe.
It's the weekend before Father's Day weekend now.
Oh, okay.
And it's the weekend after the other show in the city.
Right, the other unnamed show until they are a guest. I'm not sure if I'll mention.
Right, I won't talk about those people.
So what they're also doing is something called Donuts and Comics, which is we're going to different donut shops in New York City, Mark Carbonaro, and he wants to promote a live event where people can come down and get free donuts, free comics, free coffee, and free comic book appraisals for the first 10 people to get their appraisal. Everybody else still gets a free coffee, comics, and donuts. We're going to be on May 12th. It'll be a Tuesday at 1 p.m. at the Donut Palace in Manhattan. We're going to be there, and anybody who wants to get in on the appraisals, you have to register. You can also have us read questions to Michael Carbonaro, head of the Big Apple Con, on the air, and hopefully we'll be able to do this live streaming also. So it'll be recorded, we'll have a YouTube event, even though I can't get this live stream running.
So, quick question, are you
yes.
guys going to be at EternalCon?
I will, yes.
You'll be at EternalCon.
I will be there.
So I'll see you
I'll
hopefully
see you
at
in
the
the parking
con.
lot.
See you at the parking lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anybody who wants to register, or anybody who wants to go down there, it's going to be May 12th at 1 p.m. Register at www.nycbm.com. That's New York Comic Book Marketplace. Whew. We have one bit of sad news, and then we're going to go to our big time self-promotion news. Comic book legend Herb Trimpe died this week. For those of you who don't know, Herb was a mainstay of Marvel Comics from 1967 to 1996, working on such titles as Amazing Adventures, Astonishing Tales, Avengers West Coast, Bizarre Adventures, Captain America, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, The Defenders, Fantastic Four Unlimited, Further Adventures of Indiana Jones, G.I. Joe and the Transformers miniseries, Iron Man, Kid Colt Outlaw, Machine Man, Nick Fury and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Planet of the Apes comic, RoboCop, Robotics, based on a cartoon, Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos, Shogun Warriors, Silver Surfer, Spider-Man, Spitfire and the Troubleshooters, Thor, What If, and X-Men, just to name a few.
I like that you do that alphabetically.
It
The correct order of everything.
well, except for this one bit.
Yeah.
Of note, Herb worked on the Hulk comic from 1968 to 1975, a straight run, only missing a 3-issue break. During this run, Herb co-created the Wolverine. Actually, Hui, may I rephrase that. Herb also created on his run where Jim Wilson, Doc Samson, and he penciled the very first appearance of Wolverine. He was still active in comics with work coming out in 2014 with Savage Dragon 200. So he was still out there working for many years. You used to work in Marvel, right, Marlon?
Yeah, I knew Herb, yeah.
Yeah.
Great guy. Great guy, and I think Wolverine, he was the first artist to draw Wolverine. I think
Right,
John
he was the
Romita
first.
Sr. did the initial designs.
Right, so that's what I'm saying.
But
didn't
he was the
co-create it,
first to
yes.
render
Was
Wolverine.
he the artist that decided to put like the horns of the mask into Wolverine's hair later on? No, because I remember there was.
Yes,
I don't mean
yes,
that like funny. I mean
I
that
do.
seriously, because I remember they just.
This was
one-
the original yellow costume
Yeah,
with,
no.
with the blue gloves.
Because I also know like there was also an artist, and it must have been him then, that got annoyed with Wolverine somehow always being drawn small. Because the idea was like, no, he was a regular sized guy. He just looks tiny because he's fighting the Hulk, and somehow they messed that up later
It
on. That's
became
why
a
it became the
little-
runs.
Huh.
You know, like that's anything. That's what I heard anyway. I might be wrong.
So is there any truth to
I
that?
can neither deny or confirm that one. I think he became the runt in the Dave Cockrum
Yeah.
run of X-Men. That's when they decided he was going to be a short little guy.
Marvel, by the way, is like the Illuminati. You can never get anyone to confirm or deny anything. It doesn't matter. And it's also like
He
the
was,
Marines.
it was his day off when that
My-
happened.
Yeah.
My stint was in the early 90s, and we're talking about stuff that happened in the 80s, so
Yeah, okay,
I
sure.
can neither deny nor confirm.
It's like the Marines. Once in Marvel, always Marvel. Yeah.
And he was a spry 75 years old. He was only
That's
75.
young, that's young.
Yeah, that is,
That's,
yeah.
He was doing the convention circuit.
Yeah. That's 25 years before you get a letter from the president.
Wow.
That's one of the beautiful things about comic books, though, man. You see those guys going almost into their 80s and stuff. They can just keep going because it's such a great medium, and it's not that physically demanding on you, you know. So you can keep working
True.
in it.
Very true.
Right, it's not like you have to lift weights or...
Right. I mean, it's not like you're breaking bricks and stuff, right?
Right,
Yeah.
but it is in defense hard work to draw that stuff.
Oh no, that's not. I'm just
Okay.
saying, physically speaking, like,
Yes.
it's something you can continue to do. So it's, that's a beautiful thing in my
Don't
opinion.
want the
Yeah.
union guys.
As long as you're propped up in a chair and can hold a pencil, you're good to go.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yes.
Pretty much.
So we're moving on to our happy news. As I mentioned earlier, this Tuesday, we're going to be promoting, as you remember, Amy Jo Johnson was a guest on our show, the original Pink Power Ranger. And on the show, we had a little thing that she was talking about an Indiegogo campaign that she was doing. And one of the perks is that she was giving out for $400. Anybody can come in and go to a pizza party, Power Ranger pizza party. Now, I wanted to play this clip from that episode because this is how unrehearsed this was, completely live. So let's play that right now.
Anyway, this is what I'm putting you on the spot. The pizza party in New York.
Yeah.
Would you invite us?
We would cover it so
We would cover it, we would cover it, and oh my God, you talk about a promotion, oh my God. And besides, I'm Italian, I'm in, pizza,
Yeah.
it's a,
It's gotta be good pizza. Maybe you can recommend them the right pizza spot.
oh my God, I can. Are you kidding me? If you saw the size of me, you'd know. I'm the best man for the job here. But yeah, so I'm putting you on the spot right now. I will get you the pizza place and everything like that if we get invited to this.
How many are you?
2.
Yeah, just two.
Oh, you guys can come for sure.
All right, well, then, you know, don't lie to me, Amy. You know, okay. All right, all right. So, okay, pretty cool. Yes, and we will cover it, and I will get you the pizzas from my own special pizza place.
Oh, wow.
So that is our very own Charlie Salad, you know, getting us the invite, which is happening this Tuesday.
Tuesday.
And the place,
My very own pizza place is a restaurant pizzeria that I love to death. A good friend of mine owns it, and the food is fabulous. It's called Mulberry Street in Bayshore, on Bayshore Road. And my buddy's name is Mike Watusik, and the pizza is phenomenal, and he's doing a great job. He's actually providing the pizza, and to go above and beyond, he also provided a sample pizza for us today with all the trimmings, and
which is very nice of them.
and Mike and the whole gang at Mulberry Street, we appreciate it, and it's a great restaurant. Stop there. And what's the address? Because I know it's on Bayshore Road. but-
Address is on 192 Howard Road in Bayshore, New York. Go to their website, www.mulberrystreetbayshore.com, and you can give them a call and tell us we said hi. And also order some food
Right.
at 631-665-2004.
Yeah, the food is, again, if you saw my size, which you're
Which you
seeing
can.
now,
Yes.
the food is excellent. It's a beautiful thing. And we want to thank Mike Watusik and everybody at Mulberry Street for, helping us out with this big project, Gaten project.
True to her word, this was 6 months ago. You know,
Yeah.
she came through, and we are doing
And
this.
it's
We're
happening
going down-
Tuesday.
Happening on Tuesday at a super secret location, which we're not allowed.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't even,
to
let me
vote.
tell
It's
you
a
something.
Super secret location.
I didn't even tell Mark. Mark, no, you're
You didn't
Mark.
tell me.
I didn't even tell Mike. And when we get in the car and get ready to bring,
go.
that's when he's getting the address. So I just want Amy Jo to know that.
Yes,
We're
it's super
sticking to
secret.
the
But for
rules.
anybody who can't go, they can go onto our website, www.itcamefromhere.com. We'll have the live stream from the event.
Right.
So we're going to have all the people who are there. They're going to be
Yeah.
telling their favorite Power Ranger stories.
I was gonna say, that blows my question, so where is this?
It's a super secret
It's
location.
super secret location, it's in the
Yeah.
back cave.
We're gonna have to
It's
get our
the back
own
of a
pizza
KFC.
and join this party.
Yeah, yeah. I
What
feel
you
hurt
can do
now.
is while you're watching the live feed, get a
figure.
pizza and watch it, and then you can
Yeah.
be like a reality.
You know where they should get the pizza from?
Mulberry Street.
There you
Bayshore.
go. You see that? That's
Yes.
double cross.
You gotta
promotion
remember
right
to
there.
say Bayshore, because there's other Mulberry Streets around.
Yes, that's why
Well,
Mulberry
yes.
Street,
Bayshore.
Bayshore.com.
Right. Go see my
So
friend Mike.
yes, I just wanted to say how excited I am.
Oh,
about
and in
this
fact,
and
Mike's
how-
gonna stop by and next week.
And I'll meet him in this super
Yeah,
secret
we're
location.
we're gonna talk about the gala event.
It's-
They're gonna bring more pizza?
I hope so.
I might just show up.
I hope so, Mike.
Just gonna stalk him out and follow the van
Yeah.
to Mr.
Yeah.
His place.
Well, I know exactly where, if he's gonna be coming here, I know how to get here, so my voice is on the radio right now.
So,
But,
so
anyway.
in the news next week, Dominic Sperano ransacks a pizza van.
That's right, that's right, I'm hungry, all the time.
So I just want to mention how awesome Charlie really pulled us out of nowhere. We had no idea what was going to happen. It was just an on-the-spot deal that he asked her to go, and I just can't believe that she
Well,
was
you
so
know what
kind
the
enough
thing is,
to
she
let us
was,
do
she
it.
was such a pleasure to interview and stuff like that, and just generally a nice person, and we really do hope her project,
The space between the movie
yeah, the
promoting.
movie, hits big, really, and she was, so it was the kind of thing where, I knew, like, I could kid around, even if it wasn't possible, then there would have even been, well, we still love you anyway, but it worked out well.
So yes, I'm very, 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 very excited about this.
So.
Oh, yeah, you gotta see him while this was happening.
Oh, I bet.
It was like
I'm sure it was
jumping
I,
in
Peter,
the air.
right?
I didn't believe he was asking that question to her.
Yeah.
Like I was like, what is he doing? What is he doing? And there you go.
But
So
it worked.
It worked,
It
yeah.
worked.
Hey, they got free pizza out of this, it's brilliant. So when you guys go off and do these live things in separate locations, like how do you set that up, what do you do?
We have our amazing gentleman behind the glass here, Brian. Last thing with the Eternal Con and the
The Horror Con?
Comic-Con, the comic.
Oh, the horror show. The Big
Yeah,
Apple Con
no,
horror
the
show?
one where
Oh,
you
Big
were
Apple
at,
Con,
right,
Big Apple
yeah.
Con, yeah.
Yeah, it was like we were interviewing. I was interviewing at the Eternal Con, and you were interviewing at Comic-Con, the spring session.
The special edition, yeah.
Oh, yeah, with the, the live
right,
feed,
and,
the live
and
feed, yeah.
our gentleman, Brian, right behind the glass here, the amazing genius that he is, he was running the, he was the operator sort of running
For the live shows,
wires
okay.
back and forth.
Okay.
So we do that way or just,
So on days that are not live shows,
Right.
and now I have the ability, I'm going to use the,
right, so
the
lately
little
we've
setup
been
for
doing
this,
it.
this
Yeah.
web camera, ideally. It's very
Because
simple for me.
I meant to, and I ran out of time to do it, but I want to invite you guys to the next Phrases to Pages in September, and have you guys like come and if you want, come and do like a show there.
In September,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Because like that, I'm probably freaking around September 22nd or 20th around
I
there.
can't make it, no.
You're busy? Too much in advance?
Too
Yeah,
much.
It's getting to
Not
the point,
enough time.
I'm asking people like 6 months ahead of time, right
Yeah,
after
no,
we
we definitely,
we do it, like.
definitely be there.
I was talking to Simon Fraser, because I want Simon Fraser, he did our very first one, and I want him to come back and do it again, and he's always busy. He did an extended tour of like the world when we were doing this. Oh, I hated him so much. He's taking pictures and I'm putting them on Facebook of like Italy. He's like, oh, Italy, it's just as beautiful as I left it last time. Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't an accurate impression of Simon. I have to do a really good Scotch accent, because the man's like, you know, he went to Mocha Fest in a kilt. He
Wow.
went to Mocha Fest in a kilt.
That's true to form.
Yeah, I mean, you know, because apparently it was tartan week. But, you know, so I'm asking all the pros now 6 months ahead of time, so you've been asked officially to come to
Yes,
Phrases to
That will be
Pages.
there. It's
Definitely.
it's on,
We
it's on
appreciate
record
it.
on like 3 different formats, so
See,
you can hear
there
it.
we go. It's gonna be on YouTube, four
Yeah.
formats, there we go.
So speaking of which, what other news does Pronto Comics have going on?
Actually, a bunch of things. We just did a speaking engagement yesterday at Barnes & Noble in Princeton, New Jersey, and we had about 35 to 40 people come, and it was myself and my managing editor, Patrick G. Riley, and my event coordinator and editor, David Rondinelli. It was all put together by this wonderful person named Steve Lucarelli, who works at that store. So it was a wonderful event. We did a whole hour of questions and answers, and then we actually did a mini Phrases to Pages right there in the store. So you have people just spread out like drawing stuff. And for those who don't know what Phrases to Pages is, we give you a phrase and you have 45 minutes to make a full comic book. And it's perfect for like artists and writers, and we make sure that you collaborate. And then we judged them and we gave out first, second, and third prizes. The first place prize was our very first graphic novel that we're doing, which was done by this gentleman named Colin Kerr. And it's called The Keening, and it's based off of all Irish. And hey, hold on, Shatner can wait. This is my time. I'll never be able to say that again in my life.
And we have it on tape.
Shatner can wait. Colin Curry, he based it all off of Irish folklore and mythology, and he was signing at Mocha Fest. And of course, we did Mocha Fest last weekend, and we did a recent 24-hour comic book day challenge, which went off pretty well. And Jimmy Palmiotti picked the winner via Orlando. I know he's down in Florida, and you can check all that stuff out on our Facebook page.
I believe our friend of the show, Kelly Gordon, was there. Did he come in second place, I believe, maybe third? Kelly Gordon from MCon, East Meadows Comic Library.
On what
On
thing?
the 24-hour.
24-hour comic.
Yeah, I know he presented pictures on there. I just forget which place he had. But I know he had some type of.
Well, we had two teams. One at Carmine Street Comics, and one at the Spider's Web up in Yonkers. So I don't know if Kelly was. I'm thinking maybe you're talking about Phrases to Pages, which was the week before that.
Ah, because I thought he said he was going to go down to. I know he said he was going to go down to an event. I could have sworn it was the 24-hour challenge. But I could be
Well, they
wrong.
were only a week apart, so
Oh,
it's
yeah,
entirely. I think he probably went to Phrases because there we have first, second, and third.
Ah.
So that went off pretty well too. That was a good event. So we're on a roll right now. We got like a whole we're rolling with a bunch of positive good things, which is great. Makes me feel good.
What is the website so that way people can know more information?
You can always go to prontocomics.com. We just redid the website. Michael Grassi and his interns did a wonderful job working on it. And always go to our Facebook page, prontocomics.com, or check us out on Twitter @prontocomics. Those are the 3 best ways to get in touch. And you can always just email me. You got to see at prontocomics.com.
Contact you directly. That's a.
I have an open door policy of just people. If you're
Some
interested in
random
making
guys
comic
that-
books, just come find me, email me.
We'll find
Listen,
it.
if they go to the website, they're gonna find my email anyway. So what's
Fair
the point of
enough,
hiding
fair
it?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
We're ready for our break there, Brian. We'll be right back. We came from radio.
Oh, that's on record. I told Shatner can wait.
That was funny.
It's still on. We're still recording.
It's
you know.
still recording.
Just
yeah,
letting you know.
that's-
So I'm going
Johnny
to test
Carson,
out
that's funny stuff.
little hive on just in
The
case.
screen was
you
going
guys-
black, so I went to hit it to
Yeah.
refresh, and it activated the.
No, that was awesome. It was
Nice.
So let's-
Good
That
though.
was good, that was
Good
like a
catch.
good
Do
Do
plan.
a little behind the scenes, so you guys, while we're on commercial.
Just you planned it.
No,
yeah.
roll.
I always compare your thing to Apple
Music.
with the Beatles, because when
Oh.
they started Apple,
Right.
that was their concept. Anybody who has anything,
Right,
come
yeah.
in, and if it's well worth it, you don't have to go crawling on some, hands and knees.
Well, hopefully you're correct, and I'll be as rich as Paul McCartney someday.
Yeah. Well, that's how we got James Taylor and other
Yeah,
other acts.
I need money.
You're getting hungry, aren't you?
I've been hungry since I got up this morning.
Well, go
Yeah.
grab a slice. What do we got?
I'm not gonna eat pizza while we're being recorded live right now.
Why? It's
No,
perfect
you
product
can't eat it
placement.
that fast until we come back.
No, but we're still live. This is still gonna be.
We're not on the air,
YouTube
but we're on
page.
the air apparently.
I never liked him.
I like both of these gentlemen very much.
We like Dom, especially.
And I love everybody, for the record.
Yeah, Mario goes without saying. We
Yeah.
like him. Even since Mark pronounced his last name right.
Mm.
Well, if we're gonna go there, it's gotta be Mariano. That's gotta be.
Mariano.
Mariano.
There's only one Mariano. He
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, there's two. There's the baseball guy, and then there's me.
Oh, that's good timing. That,
Really?
that you didn't have that
I shut
on.
my phone off,
Charlie.
What?
That would be
You're on break.
muted.
Yeah, now. Thankfully, first time ever.
And you're answering it.
Excuse me, Mark, should I be keeping track of callers' names as they called it, or does it matter?
I got the list. I got the list in order they're supposed to call.
Oh, because somebody just called at 4:25. He said, I'm supposed to call at 4:50. Am I too early? I'm like, yeah.
Who's the 450 guy?
Yeah, who's the 450
Yeah.
Wilson
guy?
Ramos.
Wilson.
Does it sound typical of this individual?
He's eager. He's eager.
Oh,
He wants
that's
to be
good.
queued up.
All right.
So if
well,
you just put
I
that
told
first
him to call
name-
at 4:45.
Okay, if you just put that first name
And the
out,
last time
I'll
I was
know.
on, we had a
That's-
caller, and now we got like, well, they're all
Well,
people
this
working
all,
with you,
yeah, all
right?
his people project.
It's kind of cool though.
This
having
is
people
behind the
call.
scenes for you guys
I
watching
like
us.
I like him. I like that name better.
This is.
By the way, that was wrong number, Ghost.
Was it real? I woke up this morning, I got a text, and like it was just somebody's name and like their information, and I'm like, okay. And figuring I just did that appearance yesterday, I'm like, well, I meet a lot of people. I didn't remember giving my number out, but like, I meet a lot of people. How did I meet you? They're like, oh, I'm sorry, that was sent to the wrong person. I'm like, great. So now I just know your full name and where you live. Okay, that was genius of you, sir.
I always say, when they send me like, Joey, I'm gonna be here at this time. I go, Joey's not gonna make it. Why, what's ready? We were supposed to make it. I said, because Joey never got the text. You sent it to me, a total stranger, send it again.
I don't know if you
Send
ever
it to me.
saw those memes on Facebook, like, when you get a call from a salesperson, just pick up and go like, it's done, but the room is full of blood, and hang up. I did that recently, just because I couldn't help it.
Oh, look at me, I'm putting on my glasses. That's why I'm the senior correspondent.
Wow, that was hot. Now, back to our show.
And welcome back to the King from Radio. This is your host, Mark Torres, speaking. I'm Boston correspondent Charles Saladino, our guest co-host, Dominic Sperano, and
Mariano.
Guest Mariano Niciesa.
Still a pleasure to be here.
I gotta tell you, that girl loves every single thing that's played in the break.
It's so hot.
She is the
It's
happiest
so hot.
person.
It's so
Yeah,
hot.
and she will be getting married the week
For all you
after-
guys who thought you had a shot.
Yeah,
Damn
the
it.
week after, September, the thing we're going to, no,
Is it?
June.
Oh.
June.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But
You
you
mean
married
an
on
Eternal Con.
Father's
Eternal
Day.
Con.
Okay, Eternal Con.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
alright, so that's the father's
Yeah.
day gift for you?
Yeah,
but-
I'll be giving her away. Yeah. Hey.
So this week, as we are streaming live on our website,
Streaming,
www.radio.com, and this will be on our YouTube page when this is all done, said and done, most likely, if the volume is picking us up very well. We're going to be talking to, about, and with our guest, Mariano. So, Mariano, this is your third time being here, and every time you always have a new and different project that's going on. So what is going on with Mariano this time?
This time, we're revolutionizing the
Winter.
comics industry. That's nothing short of that.
Really?
Really.
Don't steal my job.
Bold, very bold.
And how is it you're going to revolutionize? Now you got me saying
Yeah,
it.
we're gonna have to say it 10
We get
times
him for
fast,
the
each of
interview.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how are you going to do it?
You know,
with what?
The print industry, and comics are print, has been undergoing change for the last couple decades, one form or another. So newspapers have transitioned from print successfully into digital, magazines have transitioned successfully from print into digital. I think arguably we can say that comics have not transitioned that well from print into digital. There's a lot of different forms of digital comics out there, but I don't think anyone's hit the home run to really create a solid, enjoyable reading experience when you're reading something on a tablet or an iPhone. A lot of hand manipulation all the time, it's just not a smooth, seamless read, in my humble opinion.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I mean, certainly there's a lot of things that are moving towards digital in a lot of different ways. I know Comixology is working very hard on it, but still there's nothing that quite works like reading a comic book.
I like to call it the holy grail.
Yeah.
So, using another completely different example from the technology industry, you get Apple. Apple at one point developed a desktop computer and a laptop computer, and then they developed the iPhone, and then somewhere along the way someone decided to mash the two together and created an iPad.
Mhm.
Well, essentially, that's what we're doing. We're not replacing printed comics, we're not replacing digital comics that you can read in Comixology or anywhere else. We have developed what we feel is going to be a different channel, like the iPad became its own channel.
Okay.
And we're calling them cinematic graphic novels. So essentially, it's taking a little bit from here and a little bit from there and making it our own. So these are going to be comics that have some movement to them. They're going to have some sound effects. They're going to have some music, soundtracks, but it retains a reading experience. You're still reading this. It's not like an animated cartoon that you're listening to voiceover actors.
Okay.
So cinematic graphic novels are going to be a new type of comic book reading experience.
And
No, I was gonna say, that's brilliant. How did that happen? Like, what would you just sit down one day and say?
There is one man that brought us all together. We're gonna hear from him right now because I carry him around. with
hopefully
me.
this works. Let's see.
Yeah, let's
Look at that
hopefully-
This
segue.
is our yeah, it's very nice.
That was a good segue. Right?
I would
Hi,
know.
I'm William Shatner, and I'm doing something so new and so exciting, I've got to let you know about it. L&L Partners, Panelfly, are with me. We're doing illustrated novels in an absolutely new way, something that has essentially never been done before. You will be as excited about it as I am.
There
How's
you-
that for an intro?
That's pretty darn
Nice.
How's that for an intro?
Shatner may speak.
Indeed.
I can't believe it.
This is viewable right now on various platforms where we've kind of released it out there for the world to see. Primarily, we have an Indiegogo campaign at Indiegogo.com in the comics section, strangely enough under William Shatner Man O' War. That's the name of the project.
So-
William Shatner's Man O' War. So, to answer your question, how did we get together? William
Yeah.
Shatner pulled us together.
Nice.
Years ago, I've been working with William Shatner since the 90s, since the Marvel days.
Please do tell more.
That's ancient history, that's old news.
Oh, okay.
I was an art director at Marvel in the early 90s. I had read a series of books that he produced called Tech
Oh,
War,
yeah.
Tech Lords, Tech this, Tech that.
Right. It was a very
And-
short-lived live series for a while too.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it was a TV
Yeah.
series for a while. So
Yeah.
when the first book had come out, Tech War, I had read it. I had thought it was really a cool read and would make a great comic. And having just started at Marvel, this was 1991, I approached Bill and I said, "Let's bring this." Yeah, that's true. I should say Mr. Shatner. I approached Mr. Shatner.
No, call him Bill. It's even cooler. You know, I call William Shatner Bill.
And carry him around with me at all times.
Yeah.
So, brought him to Marvel, turned it into a Marvel comic, and Tech War went on from there, and that sort of built our business relationship. So I stayed in touch with him over the years, and I was in touch with him a few years ago, showing off some new digital concepts that people were kicking around. Other people were doing the same thing. He was, you know, he's constantly entertaining new business ventures.
Right.
And there were a few of us that were running on parallel lines. So he was having a meeting with a couple of them in LA, and I got the phone call and I said, hey, can you join this meeting? And I joined the meeting, and at the conclusion of it all, it was, why don't you all work together? Why don't we pool our resources, work together, and see what we can create? And that's how cinematic graphic novels were born.
Now we have a caller. Do you want to go to Michael Yakudis on the phone?
Before
Oh,
before we
So,
before we go to
Michael,
a call, now you're
you're
gonna
gonna
get
have
me
to
in
hold
trouble.
on.
I have got to get this out.
We have
First
a tight
and-
schedule.
First and foremost, I have to get this out. There is a team of artists working
Okay.
on this,
All right.
and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
very quickly going to mention everybody so that the love is shared.
All right.
All right, so Gary Laird, Scott Liggett. Those are the two gentlemen from the West Coast that are helping with animation and with sound effects. They're part of L&L Partners. That's Laird, Gary Laird, L, Mariano Niciesa, that would be me, N, and Scott Liggett, another L, so that's L&L Partners. All right, editor Frank Lavecchi. Then we have a series of artists: John Ebert, Sherp, Rick Emond, Philip McNulty, Michael Yakudis, George Kelly, Teresa Steele, Veronica Smith, Eric Vincent, Dina Simmons, David Irizarry, Nicholas Sardos, and of course, Mr. Wilson Ramos Jr. and music composer William Ashford. All right, I've gotten all the names out. Now my life is safe. This is good.
David Irizarry?
Yes,
I believe he's worked with us.
excellent, great guy,
Yeah.
great guy.
I know the name is very
It's a
familiar.
small world.
I
I'm
know.
sure we can compare names and it's going to be.
I'm just saying, I was like, hey, good for him.
Good for him.
No, well, because
all of these folks,
yeah.
all of these folks had a hand in producing the various chapters that make up the Man of War project.
So I guess we can ask Michael which is the phone.
Now we can pull Mr.
get the mic
Yakudis right into
on the
this.
phone. Say hi, Michael.
Hello, hi everybody.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right. So as you've heard, Mariano, promoting yourself as part of this project. So what part do you play in this whole Man of War deal?
I'm one of the illustrators involved in some of the later chapters. I produced some of the line art and pencils and for a few of the later chapters.
So when you're working on a project like this and now you're into the new cinematic graphic novel, how is that transition? How does that work for you?
It was a little different. It's not quite as simple as just drawing everything on a page and it would be the exact, because you have to plan ahead and think of how it can be animated. So you have to separate things, kind of a cut and paste process, if you will. You make sure that some of the elements are animated, I guess you'd say. You can't just put everything on a flat page and leave it at that. You have to separate from the figures so that they can be moved around in the animation process. And so it's a little different. It's a little bit more forethought going into a page.
That's actually a really good point, Michael, because we don't produce comics. We've literally, the phrase is the tail wagging the dog. Comics have been produced the same way for the last 70 years, where
Right.
you're drawing on a
Yeah.
flat 11 by 17 inch piece of paper, and we do not produce cinematic graphic novels that way at all. To Michael's point, they're being produced in a panel by panel format, so it's readable on a tablet or a phone device. So by its very nature, from the very get-go, the production is different than a traditional comic book.
So it's one panel is drawn and another panel is, but
Correct.
not like as one page.
Correct.
Each separately.
Correct. But because we're doing it in this manner, we can retrofit it so that
Oh.
we can take that same artwork and produce a comic book page out of it.
The more you describe this, the more I understand how you see it as the evolution of comics, because it makes sense. Because that's sort of like where people are going with doing, tumblers and things like that, of like a panel a day or things like that. So I can
That's
see where
where
you're going.
That's where Scott and Gary and Mr. Shatner really came in, because they brought in the television and the movie aspect to this.
Oh, you mean Bill?
Well, you can call him Bill. I'm going to call him Mr. Shatner.
So Michael, Mariano was kind enough to put a little note under your name as a community liaison for MakingComics.com. So why don't you quickly mention what is MakingComics.com?
MakingComics.com is a nonprofit organization geared toward helping education on the process of making comics. And we're actually about to merge with my old
community. Everything's
Oh,
always about the community. I mean,
I've said
how
that for
Dominic
years
has
now.
been saying about the community over and over, and this is all part of it. It's all part of independence, promoting each other, not tearing each other down and fighting for that little scrap. Everybody can join forces, just like with the LML. That way they can work together as opposed to working against each other.
Exactly.
All right,
Exactly.
so do you have any other questions for Michael before he goes? Because we have the next caller on already. Nope. All right. So
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael, for calling.
Okay.
And, and I know the next person we have on is Kelly Zimmerman. Does Kelly have a title that you want to give him or her? Because it's an ambiguous.
Kelly, everyone in pulling this together, this is almost like watching a movie and you see the credits roll at the end of the movie and there's like a million names involved. So the traditional categories have blurred, of penciler, inker, colorist. So many of these artists have had multiple tasks, and I'll let each of them describe what they're doing.
All right. So Kelly Zimmerman, you are on the air. Say hi, Kelly.
Hey, how you going?
All right. So see, so how are you involved in this whole project?
Well, I did two chapters. I was brought in by earlier.
Superb pencils and inks.
That's why you're the art director.
So what did you think about the project when you were approached by him? So it was Bill, our friend Bill.
Our friend Bill, yeah.
Again, that name.
So like, oh, once Bill is involved, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So have you seen the finished product? What are your thoughts on it?
I've only seen little bits and pieces of pretty much what everyone else has. I saw like the first preview that they had, and the more I see, the more I'm liking it, the more I'm looking forward to seeing the whole thing completed.
So I guess finally, Kelly, because we already have our next caller on the line. Do
They're
you have any
lined up.
websites to promote? You want to mention anything right now? Now's your chance.
Excuse me, I didn't hear you.
I said, do you have any websites you want to promote? You want to promote yourself? Where can people reach you for some work?
I have a website, gkellyzart.com.
gkellyzart.com.
Right.
All right. So thank you for calling, Kelly.
All right.
I appreciate it. So,
Take care, Kelly.
So as we're running through the credits on the list of people, we still have some time. So next we have Philip Minotti. How is Philip? How do you know Philip?
Phil's been working with me, I should say, for years. And he's a very accomplished artist, a penciler, an inker, digital artist, a man of many hats.
So
You have to be in comics.
You do.
Yeah.
Especially in today's day and age.
That was like Joe Kubert's
the
idea.
electronic component.
Yeah.
So Philip, you're the man of many hats. Which hat are you wearing right now, Phil?
Right now, I have nothing on my head, but right now, I guess I'm just going with the motion.
So Philip, why don't you tell us a little bit about working with Mariano all these years ago? Tell us about young Mariano, young spry Mariano.
Well, young spry Mariano is kind of like
Never existed.
But no, it's Mariano and I. We go way back. But I was fresh out of college, and I answered a Craigslist ad for a comic book artist, and that's how the whole. And he took a chance on me, so you know, I'm very grateful for him for carrying me through on this project as well.
My friend, your work speaks for itself. No one is carrying anybody. You're carrying yourself through.
You just said Craigslist. Who goes on Craigslist to get artwork? That's
It's
crazy.
actually
When you're
very
looking for
common.
artists, you look everywhere.
Oh,
you
yeah.
look, everywhere. Facebook,
Yeah.
wherever.
Craigslist
Conventions.
Isn't that where the axe murderers hang out?
That too.
Apparently not.
But not in the art section. I mean, we've
When
used
you're
it.
trying to get into comic books, you'll take any avenue, even if it is a Craigslist ad. You're like, it could be a killer or it could be a career.
This man is correct.
They got Blake Shatner, so
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I like how that's the thought process. It could be a killer or it could be a career. That's either one.
That's why when I was a younger man and I was meeting someone for an art project via Craigslist, it was always in a very public space. Always.
Good move.
Yeah.
Good move.
Yeah, I mean, like, when I come up, like, no, why don't we meet at Starbucks in a mall at midday? You know?
In the middle of a parade.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Phil, since you've known Mariano for quite some time, and obviously you've been dealing with comics for quite some time, how is it that your view of comics back then to what you guys are doing right now, which is a cinematic graphic novel?
Yeah, it's funny because comic books have always been like in my life, and they've always been because my dad collected comic books. So when I was little, I sort of picked it up. So it's cool to see the evolution of it and the way that, and always wanting to be in comic books as an artist. It's cool to because when studying comic books, you look at like panel layout and how does each panel go to the next one. It's kind of that invisible movement. And so, but working on this one, you can actually see the movement, and it's cool because it keeps true. It's an actual panel, just like they were when Jack Kirby got everything together and how we read a comic. It's good as that. You can see the panel, but there's actually movement in the panel and the transition to a next one. And it really is, it really is a reading experience. It is making that leap of saying this is a comic book, but it's also the cinematic version of that comic book, and it's nothing like, it's nothing like what's out there, and that's what's cool to be a part of this. Is just being a comic book artist from day one, and always, learning how to tell a story in a panel. It's the same way. It's the same way for this. Only, only getting that movement and that sound, and just bringing you in more than anything that's out there today.
Oh, that's
Wow.
a praise for Mariano and this project here.
All of us have been pioneers in this. Everyone involved, all those names I read earlier, have all had a hand and a voice in this entire process.
So, Phil, beyond Craigslist, is there any place people can go and see your stuff and try to contact you for more work?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I have you can catch me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/animatedbyphil. You can catch me at Twitter with @animatedphil, or you can go to my website, which is animatedphil.weebly.com.
All right, thanks a lot for calling in, Phil. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Phil.
Well, cool. Thanks for having me, guys.
So while we're waiting for the next caller, we have an actual break in here. The way it's being sounded, and I'm going to be completely unbiased because I'm going to say that I have already seen this before, but I'm going to go from the person who has not seen anything. The way it's being described is kind of like the old Marvel cartoons that they used to have.
I was just thinking
Yeah.
that, where they used an animation stand for most of the shots.
Yeah, with the like they literally cut out the parts and they had the Hulk.
Right,
And
right.
It's a good observation.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
For the first, when Mr. Shatner put us together, for the first 6 months, we were literally a think tank.
Okay.
We didn't just dive in to start the work. We did a ton of research, from the old Fleischer Superman cartoons in the 40s,
Right.
all the way through to, as you're talking about, the 60s Marvel cartoons,
Yeah.
all the way to the current Marvel motion comic stuff and other things that have been out there. And
I know another call's coming. I wanted to ask you, what is going to be the difference between this and like Marvel motion comics that you can see like Comic-Con or things?
well, first of all, the Marvel motion comics had actors voicing over.
Okay.
That's first and foremost. That was like in my mind, not to berate anyone's efforts, but it was kind of like a poor man's cartoon. It was
Yes.
not a
Okay.
reading experience. It wasn't a true comic book where you're reading something.
Okay.
So that's first and foremost. Second, the gentlemen I've talked about, Gary Laird and Scott Liggett, are both Emmy award-winning artists. They've both won Emmys in their particular categories, in the animated and in the music and sound categories. So what we're doing is a very superior version of some of these other things we've mentioned. It's a lot of
Okay.
three-dimensional effects that are going on. You just kind of have to see it to experience it.
Right.
Indiegogo.com will have samples of this material that you can click and view.
Okay, and we have Rick Edmond on the phone. And how is Rick involved in this, Mariano?
Rick is another of the stellar artists involved. Multifaceted, penciler, inker, painter.
Did you also meet him on Craigslist?
I don't remember how I met Rick. Tell your story.
So Rick Edmonds, say hi, Rick.
Yeah, I was on Craigslist. I was looking for a serial killer job. You know, it's hard to get those things. It's usually a one-man operation. You know, it's attacking slash your way through competition.
Good comic book too.
So, as an animator,
This has
as far
gone
as
downhill
animation
really
is
fast.
Whew, all right, so Rick, so what exactly part of this? Did you do a couple pages? Were you working in behind the scenes? How were you directly involved with this Shatner project?
Illustrating, doing inking, just at one point I just recently, I got into actually working on a script for future consideration, doing the CGM model. And I have to hand it to Mariano. I don't know how he got through this thing because it's entirely different animal. Every panel, instead of being that static, flat, piece of work, it's a box of moving parts. It's just an amazing thing to do, and when you are writing this thing, or when you are illustrating it, you are constantly aware of the fact that you are passing this on to somebody else. You have to give them all the tools that you can, so that they can take it, that next step further. And then, of course, obviously with the motion on to music, what have you. It's a lot of fun as we have you involved with it.
That's an interesting point that you mentioned, working with other artists on this. So you're working on your pages or whatever.
Wait, there are other artists?
Uh-oh.
No. Don't forget what he said.
Oh.
Well, how long were you working in comic books for?
Oh, God.
So do you find that it's... Okay. So do you find that this is like a similar, but somewhat different experience, like in comics? Like,
It's an entirely different experience. Mariano again brought me in on this, and Dick William Shatner. The bells went off, the flags were waving, the lights were shining.
We call him
And
Bill.
I said, I'm in, yes, whatever.
he's stealing my bit.
But right from the beginning, you think, okay, we're going to get in this, okay, we're talking down, okay, we're fine. But it's an entirely different thing, as I said before. It's something where you're constantly thinking, okay, there's this great shot, and the guy is leaping across the table, but no, you need to continue that leap. You need to have things on that table so they're being knocked over in the course of that leap. How is the other character reacting? Not simply statically, but physically, how are they reacting? So, it's an amazing thing. It's a challenge, but I think what we all love.
Cool.
All right, so Rick, do you have any places where you can find your work? You want to promote it real quick before we go on to the next caller?
Sure. Rick Emmond, EMOND.com.
That's the simplest one of everybody so
I
far.
think so, yeah.
Well, there's a more elaborate one, but
No, stop now, you're ahead.
it was very talking to you.
Thanks for calling in, Rick. I appreciate it. All right, so we have our final caller, right on schedule, which working out pretty well. Wilson Ramos Jr., who has been a guest on our show before with the 8 Spot that they were promoting, and I forgot the Wilson. What is the name of that the superhero Sentai stuff you were doing?
Teen Kaiju.
Yes, Teen Kaiju. Good thing he's here, so he can help me remind him to promote what he's here
Yes.
for.
Right.
So
Always adds credibility to us.
Yeah. This is a well-oiled machine at all
Yes,
times.
yes.
So Wilson, why don't you just bring us home with your final thoughts on this whole project? How are you involved? How do you know Mariano? And what's your take on this?
Okay, how I know Mariano?
And do you regret knowing Mariano? Let's start with that one.
So we're going to tell the truth about it.
Uh-oh.
I'm having a blast working on this. Completely different than what I've done before. I know Mariano was going back to our days at Marvel, so this is 20 years now at Marvel? Well, no, 10 years or so. But off and on, talking to him here and there, and working until during Ryan's Wars of Independence that I got to really get back and talk to Mariano and stuff he was doing, and he brought me in on a couple of his projects like Phaser, and
but once you let me know about it, it was at first an interesting task. You know, something that I've never done before. Yes, I've worked in comics, but something that's animation and computer and stuff like that. I was like, okay, this is a cool challenge. What else do you have? And then he had William Shatner involved, and it's like, well, that's a little more interesting now. I'm really interested in what he's trying to do. And once he pretty much put together this presentation for me, I was more than happy to be part of it. And I'm basically now an art director on the project, but I wear many hats with it because when it's needed, painting, coloring, lettering, all those pieces are onto it. So again, I'm having a ball with it.
Wilson is the glue that has pulled everything together, because there are various artists involved,
Right.
but yet there's a consistent look to the color, there's a
That was where
consistent
we're
look
gonna
to the
go,
lettering. Yes, he has been the glue that has pulled all 16 chapters together.
Wow.
That is quite an amazing task.
Yes,
You always need one man like that on a project.
exactly. Luckily, we have a few.
So aren't you glad you're part of that few, Wilson?
Oh yes, I am glad. There's a lot of work, a lot of sleepless nights, and a big learning curve to trying out something so new like this. The challenge itself was immense, and again, it's one of those things where I was happy to know that even though I was up at 3:30 in the morning, Ariana was up too, sending emails back and forth in some cases just to go, hey, how about this, or you need to change this. So the good thing about it is, yes, we're all working independently, but it's not like a single voice out there is a voice. I send out an email, and sure enough, even if it was early in the morning, emails would be popping back.
Sounds like a little repertoire going on.
Yeah.
A community within a community.
So, Wilson, you want to do a quick promotion of places people can find your work, about the A-Spot and whatnot?
Yes, the A-Spot.com, everything links from there, which is as I've been on the show before, it's called Section 8 Comics. So the A-Spot.com will link you to my Facebook pages, my Twitter, all that is all connected on there.
All right, thanks a lot, Wilson, for calling in. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Wilson,
Thank
for
you.
everything.
You're welcome.
All right, so we have less than 5 minutes to go, so we're going to do a quick final thought. So, any more promotions, anything else you want to mention?
I've
Now,
got
the
it.
time. You want
All
to
right,
mention some
I'm gonna.
perks?
I have to.
Is there going to be a pizza party that we're going to be invited to? Is that going to happen?
It's more than a pizza party. I mean, we're gonna have a huge bash. That's what we're gonna do.
Oh, man, we'll be there.
Are we all invited now?
Everyone,
Oh.
absolutely,
Is it a
completely
Figure it
inclusive.
out.
All right, so I'm in now.
All right, there's a couple charities I have to get
I
out
need to
there.
make a bill.
Just Google them because I'm not sure of the exact website, but it's Joey's Angels, and another one is Rienzi Foundation. Both of these groups are doing amazing things for children, so please Google them. Joey's Angels, Rienzi Foundation. Then another favorite of mine, Anna Murphy on YouTube channel. Check her out, friend her, like her. And then of course, last but not least, is his project, Mr. William Shatner's project. Mr. William Shatner's project. Shatner's Man of War. And you can find it on Facebook, on Twitter, but most important, we're looking for help because we are a startup company. We've got some big names involved, a lot of people involved, but we're still a startup company and we're looking for as much capital as we can get. So Indiegogo.com, comic section, Shatner's Man O' War.
Now, I know that a couple, as I mentioned, of perks. One of them
Tons
is
of
you
perks.
can be in the comic, right?
You can be a character in the comic. You can get the usual perks of the entire series in one bundle, lithograph posters, painted work. There's tons of perks. You can go on the Indiegogo page and go into detail, all the way to executive producer. You can be an executive producer on this project.
Look at that. See, that's
Wow,
how you do it.
that's a perk.
There you go.
I saw there's only about 12 days left for people to
We're at
pledge,
the
right?
tail end, correct?
Yeah, okay.
Correct.
So make sure it's Man O' War, not Man A War.
Correct.
So we're going to do our final thoughts. So Charlie, you've been sitting there quite quietly. Do you have a final thought for us today?
Yes, I never liked you. I mentioned that at the beginning. No,
Pizza.
no, I was just sitting there figuring out how to say that nicely to you. No, I just want to say, being the senior correspondent and never getting into the comic genre, I was always the B-movies kind of guy, science fiction kind of guy. Lately, in the old age, I'm getting to appreciate guys like Dominic and Mariano, and it's such I feel it's such an honor for these people to be on our show, and actually getting us in on the ground floor on what could be a phenomenon, and it's just so appreciated by us. I know I speak for Mark, and what Dominic's doing with comics and comic book people, that they don't have to grovel, and they could, that's amazing.
Oh no, groveling is still very much a
Well,
part.
oh, okay.
They're
All right,
groveling to him.
but you're looking to
Exactly.
get rid of the groveling.
No, just
Except-
as he said,
except-
that's what it's to me.
Direct-
Except at the meetings in Starbucks during
Right.
the parade, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Craigslist,
And Mariano, this is amazing, and I feel very honored that, you know, you're on here chatting with us.
I may be here physically with
Oh.
you.
He's not.
Honestly, it's a
He's
team.
checked
It's a
out.
I
complete
realize,
team
yes,
effort.
it is a team, and really, check this out, check it all out.
Mariano, final thought?
Just thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, the format to get our story out, and please check out these various venues and check out cinematic graphic novels.
All right, Dominic, final thought?
Buy comic books, check out the Indiegogo campaign that this man has been doing. Yeah, that's about it. Buy and support comic books.
My final thought is this has been a pretty good experiment, and I think it went extremely well. I really appreciate both of you guys coming out here. So there's two guests
No
talking
problem.
about two different things in
Yes,
for our little show.
we so
really
do appreciate it, yes.
Also, best of luck with the project. I know you still have
Thank
some
you.
time to go, so people support them as best they can. And of course, Dominic, always glad to have you and promote everything that
Anytime.
you're doing. Make sure you go into their Facebook page and check that stuff out. But
Thank you.
that about does it for this week on the
Does it
Campus
really,
Radio.
Mark?
Join us right here and every week on WGBB. If you miss any part of the show,
Tough.
you can go onto our website, www.itcamefromradio.com, listen to the archives. It should be up any week or so. Or you can go to the YouTube page, which this will be downloaded in a couple of hours. So this is going to be very interesting. Hopefully it sounds out pretty well. And make sure you check us out for the, like us on the Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and the project of the 21st, which is the Power Ranger Pizza Party, will be doing a
Right.
live stream on our website.
In the
So-
Batcave, a secret location.
And check out Mulberry Street Bayshore.
Yes, no reservation.
Mike Watusi, go see him.
We'll see you in next week.
Like Giddies.
You have been listening to It Came from the Radio.
But we're
with
still
Mark
live on that, aren't
Yes,
we?
Oh,
we are
guys,
still live
thank you
online.
so much.
So
Thank
now
you.
I'm going
Oh
to
my
hit
God,
stop,
what a
and then
pleasure.
we're going to see how this
Mariano,
works.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next